win is a win is a win is a win. And the Mets win a thriller 6-5 in 11 innings down in Miami. They take the series from the Marlins. And this is Mets Daily, and I'm your host, Jake Brown, at Jake Brown Radio. Make sure you smash that thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Comment below. What did you think of that game? Unbelievable. Now, a bit under the weather today, but that game was too good to not be doing a show. We had to do a show today, and by God, Pete Alonso is exercising his demons. Pete Alonso is a player that I said all offseason I thought the Mets should have moved on. He was really bad last year. I thought he was on a downward spiral. I did not think he was worth bringing back. All the names came off the board. They brought him back. I said, you know what? Short-term deal, that's fine. And Pete Alonso had a grand slam the other day, and then today, tying the game in the 8th inning with the Mets. You know, fans tweeting out terrible series, sloppy play, and mind you, it was. The team incredibly sloppy defensively. Bad at-bats, strikeouts, errors, awful defense. But sometimes it just takes that one home run, that one big hit. And Pete Alonso tied it. Then in the 10th, they have first and third, no outs, and they cannot score. I mean, unbelievable not being able to bring a run home. The 11th, they squeeze 2 home thanks to some help from bad Marlins defense. Danny Young comes in and gives up a run, and, you know, at the jaws of defeat and blowing a game that they almost lost, then they almost won. Huascar Brazoban shuts the door and gets the final 2 outs, and the Mets win the game. They win the series in Miami. Let's go. Let's go. Big series win for the Mets because now they come home 3-3, series win. They get the home opener in front of a sold-out Citi Field on Friday. We'll see you there. Can't wait to be back in the ballpark for the first time this season, this weekend. And, you know, this is good teams got to win games like this. You know, Mark Vientos, a couple of awful plays. The bad throw home where he throws it wild. And then what is he doing fielding a ball that was basically in foul territory that he had his glove in fair territory, and everyone's safe. Run scores, guy gets the first. I'm like, what are you doing? But a total team effort in the end. Winker gets the walk with the bases loaded. That was big in extras. Pete was remarkable today. 3 homers, 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored. You know, Juan Soto ends up scoring 3 runs. I know he's struggled a bit at the plate, but still scores 3 runs for the Mets. And everyone kind of played a role. Hayden Sanger had his first career hit today. And, you know, the bullpen shut the door. Outside of Danny Young, Budo was great. Diaz had a runner at third, no one out. Finds a way to not give up a run. Reed Garrett was good. Clay Holmes was not great, but he wasn't terrible. Clay needs to work, you know, on his command, not walking guys. He gave up 6 hits, 4 2/3. You know, Minter was not good today, and Danny Young wasn't great. But otherwise, a good overall win for the Mets. And listen, it hasn't been the best baseball thus far for the Mets this season, but in the end, you'll remember the wins. You remember the wins, you remember some of the losses. But it all comes down to the record. So as bad as everything was leading up to that moment and then finding a way to win the game, they still won it. And that's what's key here. It's been sloppy so far. It hasn't been the best baseball, but they got the W. So you should be fired up if you're a Mets fan, despite the errors, despite the 2 errors from Lindor last night, despite the mistakes from Mark Vientos, despite maybe some bad moments from Vientos and Brett Beatty, who hasn't been good at all. And listen, I told you Acuna should be playing over him. But that is how you get the job done. Big win for the Mets. And, you know, when you're celebrating a Mets win, you could also do it at Citi Field at the Clover Club, where I'll probably be this weekend, at the Belle Gloss Wine Bar inside of Clover Club, where Copper Cane Wines and Spirits. You want to drink some wine? We love wine. I'm a white wine guy, Chardonnay. Shout out to Copper Cane Wines and Spirits. Who doesn't like wine? And founder Joe Wagner and Magrino PR, shout out to them. Here you see the different wines that they have in there. They got the Napa Valley Quilt Chardonnay. That is a beauty. I've dabbled in that one. The Thread Count Quilt Savy Blanc, a little Sauvignon Blanc. And this one's fancy. The Eloin Chardonnay from Oregon, 2022. Ooh. So we got, in honor of the first three, a bottle for each Mets win. 1, 2, 3. 3 wins, 3 bottles. Drinking good in the neighborhood to celebrate a Mets victory. So shout out to Copper Cane Wines and Spirits. And that's the Bell Glows Wine Bar inside the Clover Home Plate Club at Citi Field, which is where we will be on Friday. Home opener, year 22 in a row. Yes, I'm a little sick. I'm popping Dayquil, NyQuil. I think will be good for Friday. And 22 years in a row, father-son home opener tradition. We'll be back in the ballpark. I'm hoping to be there all weekend. We'll see. Also, this weather, like we've talked about, very questionable all weekend. Let's pray Friday will be okay and they'll play. But this game had everything. Like, it featured the big error, the big hit by Pete, the big outs from Brazoban, the big error by the opposing team there in the 11th inning with that error at shortstop to let the run score. I mean, that error doesn't happen. The Mets might not win the game. I mean, that was going to be a double play with Mark Vientos running. So it took every error. It took every walk. It took every guy's score. It took everything for the Mets to scratch out this win, and it wasn't pretty. But good for them getting the job done. And obviously things got to change. They got to play better defense. Lindor's got to start hitting. Vientos has got to start hitting. Vientos hitting .083. Listen, I told you Brett Beatty's not going to make this team. This is Luis Angel Acuña's spot. Both of them have been great, but Acuña's made some more impactful moments. This game also featured that play at the plate where he looked out. They overturned it. Excuse me. He was called safe. He looked like he might have been out, but I'm not sure he got the tag on. They overturned it. He was out. And that saved Edwin Diaz in the 8th inning to let it go to the 9th. And the Mets, end up able to win the game because of that overturned call. It featured an overturned call, featured errors, it featured a Pete Alonso homer. And listen, it's good to see Pete Alonso do this. This is a player that did not have a big moment last year, really until that homer in Milwaukee that saved the Mets season. And for him already in the same week to have a huge grand slam, but really more so this homer, a huge 3-run homer when no one else was doing anything. I mean, this was the Pete Alonso show today for the Mets offense. That's a great sign to see. Pete Alonso, when he's on, there's a reason fans have fallen in love with him. And the fact he did that today and got that clutch moment was huge for this team. Because when Lindor's struggling, when Soto's struggling, when Viento's struggling, you got Pete in your back pocket. And, man, think about when these guys are on. Think about when Lindor turns it around. Think about when Soto is Soto. If Pete is going to do this, and think about Vientos when he's swaggy V. If Pete is going to hit like this and those guys are struggling, man, when they turn it around, if Pete's hitting like this Mets offense is must-see TV. And so far, this team has been must-see. As ugly as it's been at times, it's like every game has been must-watch. I talk about Soto's at-bats always being must-see and must-watch. Well, this team feels like, a must-watch every night. You just don't know what you're going to get. You're going to get a competitive game and a good game, but you don't know. The 2025 Cardiac Kids, the Mets. And now the Blue Jays come to Citi Field, and we'll preview the home opener tomorrow, most likely, if I'm feeling a little bit better. The Blue Jays are 5-2, so Blue Jays are off to a great start. First place in the AL East. You get Vladimir Guerrero coming to Queens. And we'll be there for a live pregame show at Citi Field Friday. Can't wait to see you all at the ballpark this weekend. I'm Jake Brown at Jake Brown Radio. Smash that thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to Mets Daily. Share the channel. Comment below. What'd you think of that game? It was ugly, but are you fired up? Are you a little worried about the team? Let us know. Will you be at the home opener? Will you be at Citi Field this weekend? Let us know down in the comments below. We appreciate your support of Mets Daily. We'll likely talking to you tomorrow. If not, we'll talk to you Friday right here on Mets Daily. Let's go Mets. Series win in Miami. The boys are 3-3. Let's get hot. Thanks for watching. Mets Daily.